Aw, you know, they
only thing that I
deserve
can
the
think that
couple cents,
justifies
right?
Being a feminist
Block
today
the ads.
you must just want to get laid. There's no reason to believe in
What's this
all of
one?
these
Male feminists versus anti-feminists.
crazy things that seek to strip you of your masculinity, perpetuate these terrible ideas that men are evil and all of these things. That has to be the reason.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Women have it easier than they think they do.
With feminism, it's kind of brainwashed women to think that they are victims in 99% of cases, and all the disenfranchisement that they would claim in like colleges and careers. A lot of these careers are way easier to get into for women than they are for men because they're looking to hire women because of feminism.
Yeah, like in divorce and stuff, they get more property, the kids' rights, all that.
Yeah.
But more so, I think that from the jump actually have it easier. Like, men need to be a provider. They're taught to be tough. Oh, why are you crying? Don't be a girl. But when a girl is crying or a girl is upset or anything that happens, usually they're a princess and they're given the world.
Well, yeah, because with women, they're born with their value. They innately have value. They can create life and they're extremely valuable from birth. For men, it's not really the same way. You have to make something of yourself to be respected.
Exactly. Like a pretty woman can go far just using her face. A man can't do that. A man can't go to a rich businessman or like a businesswoman and be like, I'm good looking, let me come to your yacht.
Right.
A woman can.
Right.
Let's bring the disagreeers forward.
I feel like this is always a tough subject too, honestly. Like politics.
I have a quick question. Just a second ago, you were saying that a pretty woman could go onto a rich man's yacht and that would be kind of her ticket on, right? Okay, so did that help women vote at all, being pretty?
But what does that have to do with the...
I'm just asking, because I mean, when we're talking about women's lives being better than they think they are, would you rather be pretty and be able to get on a yacht or have your liberties?
What are we living in, like 1950s or 2022?
Women
They already have the right to vote
for a long time.
I think something you specifically said shows to me why women don't have it easier. I think it was you who said, women already have their value. Their value is already obvious because they can have children. I don't want to put you into a box, but there are large amounts of men. Women are people that have children and then they raise the child and they decline.
Shit.
That is a problem.
I think what was really evident to me when both of y'all came up and talked
Does it look
was
okay?
how indoctrinated into the patriarchy
Do they
are,
match?
Right? You both come up and say, as men, we have to prove something. And those expectations that...
You think so? I don't know. I feel like women do have things easier than men, but the guy said that you can basically look pretty and get anything you want. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think looking good can be easier, but they don't always get anything they want. I don't know. Same way vegans are? Yeah.
you put on yourself is a direct...
Not always, but sadly most of the time. Yeah, I definitely think they get it easier because they are... they're treated more sensitively. Does that make sense? I don't know. But imagine, I feel like... like, think of streaming. I feel like basically a girl can just, if she looks good, get in a bikini, get in a hot tub, and make amazing money on Twitch, right? But it's not going to be the same for men. Men can't just do that and make it quickly. I feel like... I don't know. I guess, yeah, like, say on Twitch, I think definitely women make it faster than men do. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I feel like a lot of pro gamers can probably make it on things like Twitch, like... But... I guess that's not really true, because I have a lot of friends that are pretty good at Valorant, and they're not big streamers, so... I don't know. But yeah, basically a woman can take her clothes off and probably make it through. You wish more men did that? Honestly, is there any men that you've seen on Twitch that have done stuff like that? I've never seen a man do like hot tub streams, ever.
Direct result of patriarchy and the systems that feminism is trying to dismantle.
As are the values that women have that when they were born that you're talking about. Women did not create those.
Right.
Men did.
Those are God
Hold on.
ordained. Men and women are both equal under God and in value as human beings. In Genesis, you have a creation of both men and women that are made in God's
We're
image.
not
so
about
we
to
are
quote the
both.
Bible on like some feminist topic.
Hold on, but so,
I mean, we
so-
can.
We're operating in a country where there's a separation of church and state. You cannot use religion as a
And the Bible
motivation
also
to make
doesn't tell women
legislation. If I hear one more person use religion as a reason to not give.
You have! Oh my god. That's funny, I'm only ever offered the women. Twitch recommends me this shit and I can't fault them. I am too thirsty. Hey, I bet they look good, right? And honestly, I feel like... I don't know. I actually think that a man that looks really good and does a hot tub stream, I think he could make it like a woman. But I feel like a woman that also doesn't look as attractive can also make it as a hot tub streamer. So you, as a woman, I don't think you even have to look good or not. You just have to have a nice body, you know? Like, you could have an ugly face and have a nice body, but I feel like a man to make it would have to look good, you know? I don't know. Am I a feminist or anti-feminist? I don't know. That'd be anti, right? Though they're usually at like 50 viewers at most, like 200. That's still pretty, I mean, yeah, that's not the best as like a woman would get, but that's still pretty good. I think it's mostly because of the man to women ratio of the internet. Not as many women are on it. You have a point. You have a point for sure.
Give rights to people, probably gonna fucking explode. People using their own personal ideologies as an excuse to implement legislation over other people's lives are simply just not okay with the fact that they can't control everything around them.
Back to the prompt, I mean, I don't think that women have it easier than they think they do. And I think to just make blanket statements like women in society think they have it easy or men in society have it harder or whatever you want to say, I just think it's kind of naive. Sure, maybe some women think they have it easier, but that might not be because they're a woman. It might just be because of their own set of life challenges and vice versa.
Yeah, and I agree. And one of the reasons that I am so passionately anti-feminist is because I believe that feminism pits men against women. Men and women may be equal today, but they are not the same. But also, too, women are under a pressing assault today in this country. They're losing their ability to compete in sports, beauty pageants, also just basic things like that to people that identify as women. And no one is talking about it. Feminists aren't talking about it. So now you have conservatives having to fight for women's equality in
You're making
these
some
spaces.
pretty blanket statements saying feminists don't care about it. And you say, you think that all women just are against men.
To answer your question, yeah, you're talking about women. Women are not all feminists. Yeah. There are plenty of feminists who are very anti-woman. You know, you saw it during in the political era where you have people who will attack Kayleigh McEnany and Kellyanne Conway because they aren't pro-women. They're not for the girls.
So
I love girls.
Actually, we have like just a little bit left. I haven't heard Kevin yet.
Yeah, when you talked about the pressures of being a man and having to provide and having to prove your value as a man, I think those are real challenges that men face. That's
Again, I feel like a lot of men are judged if they cry, and I think that's so wrong. I love seeing men cry. It shows like a sensitive side to them, you know? And I feel like they're really judged for that, whereas a woman cries, it's totally fine. Which it should be.
That's why like women have it harder too, because they are also being impacted by how aggressive men feel like they need to be able to secure the role that they have to play in society. But the reality of today is that because of the systems that we're in, the patriarchy is negatively impacting not only women, but also men.
There's no wrong reason to get an abortion.
No. There's
Why do
no
I care so
wrong
much what
reason.
people think about me? I think I'm gay.
Yeah, so people that
We're
think
gonna go to,
women should have
talk,
abortions
I guess,
are feminists,
specifically
right?
about queer stuff.
Or
Here's
should
a
be
popular recipe for
able
seared
to.
duck.
I think men have it harder with social exception, but by their own creation, not by
I need
choice.
to find the best way
but
to
by
learn
women
math and
preferences to
science.
masculine men. Hold on, let me read that again. I think men have it harder with social exception. I agree. But by their own creation, not by choice. By their own creation, what do you mean? Oh, like... Do you mean like by other men judging other men? Is that what you mean by creation? Men most of the time bully other men for not being masculine. Yep, okay, that's what I was getting. They don't usually get bullied by women, but it's because women prefer masculine men, which I think is so stupid. I feel like anyone should be able to cry. If you're feeling sad, crying can really help let that sadness out. So who are we to tell men that it's not very masculine to be sad? You know what? It's super masculine of women to work out, huh? Maybe they shouldn't do that. But yeah, I see what you mean. I feel like it's a lot of men that, yeah, bully other men for doing it. Honestly, I do think some women can too, though, because like you said, they want a masculine man. Like, if, you know, a woman sees their man cry, they call him a baby. And then find it very unattractive. But I think there's also a lot of women that find that very attractive. I don't know, I think people are stupid sometimes. And a man bullying another man for being a wimp, thus, in a fucked up way, makes the man bullying more masculine. Yeah, I feel like this is a big thing in high school too, yeah.
It's brilliant.
Whoa.
Here's a new way to learn math.
Yeah, I think that's a big
science,
issue in like
computer
high
science
schools and even
that's
middle
fun and
schools.
interactive. On Brilliant, you'll learn by seeing concepts
Like, you
visually
know how
and
they'll
interacting with them, not just by
bully
watching
the
videos.
little nerdy kid for
Check out courses and topics
being
like
a wimp.
algebra and geometry.
I guess that's
where
a
you'll learn new
completely
ways to
different
think and
situation
solve
though. That's not
problems. With over
being less.
50,000
Well, I guess that
five-star
could be
reviews on
considered
App
less
Store and Play Store,
masculine, yeah.
Brilliant is great on any device.
But not in this kind of
Sign
way
up
we're
today and
talking
start your
about.
free trial.
I'm getting nail dust everywhere.
So I'll just center the conversation around the very fact that, you know, we're a group of 8 men.
I'm curious
the
about this
optics
one.
of 8 men in a room talking about when women do and don't deserve to get an abortion it's a bad look. So for me, from a personal standpoint, you know, I have a girlfriend. There might be some reasons on a personal level where her and I having that conversation together, I might say, oh, I think we should do this, I think we should do that. On a legislative level, I don't feel confident enough to legislate when someone is and isn't allowed to get health care. Because that's what abortion is, it's health care.
Fuck.
One of the paramount ideologies of, I guess, being a quote-unquote male feminist is just the ability to mind your own business. Just to be able to say that this is the wrong reason to have an abortion, you're already headed down the wrong path.
So being an anti-feminist, I look at this and I say, well, I am more religious as well. So I want to say like I'm more like pro-life, right? But if a woman decides that they want to not give birth, it doesn't matter the reason. You know, maybe she's not wealthy enough. Maybe, you know, the father left her. You know, there's so many reasons. And then I also look at like just gun violence and how we're like birthing kids and we raise them and send it to school knowing that it can get killed. I don't know. I would feel like
It's like not it's not the best world to be raising a child in.
Exactly.
I think
That's fair.
patriarchal.
I made them kind of
even
more
in your answer,
look like
not to
each other.
combat or what have you. The idea of trying to cycle through the reasons why and going, yeah, I guess those make sense.
Women kind of even it out. Yeah, I agree. Like half women like a man who cries. Exactly, I very much agree. And like 70 to 80% of men will bully the guy for crying. Yeah, or doing anything that's any less masculine. Don't force her. I agree. I kind of look at abortion like a whole weed situation, right? Like a couple years ago, we got to vote whether we thought weed should be legalized or not, okay? I don't smoke. I never will like smoking. I don't like when people smoke, but it's also not my choice of what they want to do as long as they're not severely hurting themselves. I feel like I don't have a place to tell them what to do, so I voted for it because I feel like they should get to choose to do what they want to do. It's not... I mean, I don't really know the studies about weed, so I can't really say anything about it, but I don't consider it like heroin. I would never vote for heroin to be legalized, but I feel like abortion's the same. I feel like it sucks because I feel like the baby is alive as soon as it is created. But at the same time, you can't put every baby up for adoption if you don't want it, you know? And not everybody can afford a baby. So I feel like it's not really my place to say what a woman can and can't do either, so I probably would have never voted against it. I don't even know if I voted. But, you know, I feel like that's nobody else's choice but the person having the baby. They should be able to have that choice if they want. Isn't it illegal now to have an abortion? I thought it was. Oh, I can't cut it. Oh, okay. Oh, and again, like you said, if the man left, and then she's gonna have to raise that baby alone, see, it gets tough. It still sucks, though.
Sense is still, in my opinion, patriarchal.
Even though I was on the feminist side on that topic, it feels like I was put in a position where I was framed as wrong. It felt like you aren't allowed to have this opinion on this topic because you're not a woman. And I think that's kind of bullshit, to be honest.
Off the top of my head, I know that was mentioned earlier that abortion is healthcare, and I first want to push back on that. Abortion is not healthcare. Healthcare preserves life, it protects it. It doesn't take it away, it doesn't eliminate it.
What about the woman's life?
But when you exterminate a child, that is doing harm.
Oh, but it's
that
not
is
always a
healthcare.
child, right? So it's a discussion when it becomes a child or not. That's not a gray area. That's not a line.
It is actually scientifically proven. It is a separate
So we're
strain of
talking about science
DNA
or
at
law?
conception. If you ask any doctor...
But if you took that clump of cells out, would it survive?
It's not a
Well,
clump
we
of
are all
cells,
a
that's why you
clump of
call it a
cells.
termination.
Such
Scientifically,
a tough
it is a life at
situation.
birth. And
I don't like talking
scientifically,
about
it
it.
is I'm
Did
sorry,
you
at
just hear?
conception. At conception,
sorry.
It is a
scientific.
life, but it is not a human.
So look, though, the thing
I
is,
think
though,
it's a
when you say
life.
it's about protecting life, abortions are protecting lives of thousands of women who maybe are not able to
At
have...
the expense of another life.
And a lot of them
you're
can't
already
go through
prioritizing that
pregnancies.
other life over the woman who's carrying that life.
Because of patriarchy, too.
Because of
That's why
patriarchy.
you're doing it.
Because of
Because you've
patriarchy,
already
you're
devalued
basically
women.
saying that
So what if we're
see, these
aborting a
cells
female
are more
baby?
important than the woman.
I think it's absolutely shameful how flippantly our society has begun to treat the topic of abortion. You are literally exterminating an unborn child.
to
That
protect
is
the
wrong.
life
That
of
is
another
wrong.
woman.
Then don't have sex without protection.
Really, you don't
and
have
get
sex without
contraception.
protection. How about you
Those
don't have
always
sex
work.
without
Well, I
protection?
don't have a
Tell 'em what they
baby.
can do.
I don't have a
Right.
baby.
Tell 'em what they can do.
Stop
Yeah.
absolving women and men
Yeah.
of responsibility and treating grown ass people like they are children.
Again, we're not emphasizing any of those things.
I just
We're going straight to women and making it their problem.
Well, it's a man's problem as well, because if a man gets a woman pregnant, that is his child as well. So one of the things that's really important, what abortion does, is it puts all of reproductive rights in the hands of women when it takes both parties. She cannot have a child without a man. Abortion normalizes women making bad choices. We've kind of given a free pass for people to be a lot more carefree about who they sleep with and not really think twice about the ramifications that may come of it.
But again, we're also,
Murder an
once
innocent
again,
child.
we're zooming in on a high level on the end result. We're not talking about the systemic issues that cause women to have abortions. Hold on. We're not talking about the lack of resources that make people feel like they cannot sustain a pregnancy or sustain a life.
Right.
And those are things that are caused by the way men have set up society. So instead, hold on. So instead of talking about the actual issues from the top down and going the whole way, we go to the most oppressed person involved and make it their fault.
Mansplaining is overly criticized.
I mean, look at the orphanages and stuff. They are full because women are pressured into having their child 9 out of 10 and can't raise them correctly. Exactly, and I feel like there's so many women that do accept being a parent that shouldn't be. But exactly, like orphanages are full because there's so many people that would, if they can have their own child, they're gonna have their own child, right? Honestly, I think I would like to have in the future, maybe, I always wanted to have 3 kids, right? So, I don't know, maybe I could have try to have 2 of my own and adopt one or something. I feel like it's just so sad how all the orphanages are full and a lot of kids grow up being in an orphanage and never get to have a real family. I mean, I would at least like to have one of my own, but I would love to adopt someday. If women weren't pressured, the orphanages would only really have kids that lost their parents or some other circumstances like that. Yes, and they'd probably have some that, the woman wanted the child to have a life, she just couldn't give it that. I feel like they would have some of that, but they definitely wouldn't have any of the ones that were forced to be there. So many kids have no parent because their parents got pressured into having the child, but then couldn't raise them for whatever circumstance. Exactly, say if druggy parents end up having a baby, they're gonna have to put it up for adoption. There's no way they'll be able to keep a baby. Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it still is, but I thought abortion became illegal. I don't remember though. I'm gonna eat my popcorn now.
I frequently come across videos online where a man will respond back to a broad generalization about women, and they'll be like, oh, you're just mansplaining it, as if men aren't allowed to have a voice in the conversation.
My boyfriend hates mansplaining. We had a lot of people come to Oregon for them. Really? Oh, for abortions? Wait, you can still have abortions in Oregon?
And I think that the term itself, it's just not really defined.
And mansplaining is just not real.
Yeah.
It literally is a man explaining something, and these people get angry about it. That's the reality of the times in which we live. And it hurts the ability of men to have conversations with women, because you think, oh wow, if I explain this issue to her, then I'm gonna be accused of mansplaining, or I'm gonna be accused of being sexist because I don't think she understands it. That's toxic, and it hurts women, it hurts men, and it's just not a way for us to have a functioning society.
And at its core,
I don't get the whole mansplaining thing.
It's completely hypocritical, because the feminist plight is that women need to have a voice and they're being told they can't have a voice. And then they turn around and do the exact same thing and say, you're mansplaining me. You shouldn't have a voice about this topic because you're a man.
And we're targeting.
Yeah, is mansplaining where men try to educate women on women type things? Is that what mansplaining is? or talk about women type issues.
Because
I forgot where, but near us it became illegal, so they came here to have them. Oh. Okay, that makes sense. It's like the word cringe. It means it's very undefined. Man, I feel like so stupid with some of these words that I should know that I've obviously heard so much about. Like, I've heard mansplaining, but I don't understand exactly what it is. But it's like cringe. Oh. Then I don't get it. Why is it mansplaining? I don't understand. Mansplaining is used a lot against the actual definition. It just sounds like men explaining things. They're not allowed to do that? It's not used with its definition is what I mean. Oh, like man explaining? It's not used like that?
because of our identity, and no one cares about it because we're...
Oh my god, this is a long video. The explanation of something by a man, typically to a woman in a matter regarded as condescending or patronizing. Oh, so basically when a man is trying to explain something to a woman, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a woman type issue. That's so dumb. So what do they call women explaining something to a man? They had to make it about men, really? Yeah, it seems like I don't understand why it's about men. I don't even understand why it's a word at all. Honestly. What's the issue with explaining things? I don't get it. I don't understand. I see why my boyfriend has said once that he thinks mansplaining is so stupid. I get that. I don't understand anything about it. Is it... Oh, also, isn't mansplaining something women created? I think I've heard that.
We're supposedly in positions of power,
Probably.
so we don't get to be victims. We don't get to say, oh, you should feel bad for us, because we're men, so we don't get to have the luxury of having the benefit of the doubt of society or the media or any of those things, and it's a shame. It's a shame.
Right. Yeah.
Dinner. It's more
That
than
looks
just a
so
meal
good.
you make every night. It's a chance to slow down and catch your breath. To be fully present in the moment. Today, we'll show you how easy it is to practice mindfulness as you cook.
I really do love
By focusing
HelloFresh.
on your 5 senses.
I used to get that a lot when I still worked at Pizza Hut because I had the
I'm
money
going to speak
for it.
about mansplaining from a different perspective because you guys are talking about controversial
That's what it sounds
topics.
like.
I'm going to talk about it from just like a day-to-day perspective. In my relationship with my partner, how I try to be really mindful of mansplaining is when she is sharing her struggle. I think a tendency that can be conditioned in me through just how men dominate and want to have to solve problems and all that is I want to jump in and just solve it and try to explain what's happening here and try to question her experience and be like, hey, like, well, did you think about this? Did you think about that? Well, I see this.
Yeah, we're so not watching this entire thing. Maybe we'll watch like another, I don't know, 10 minutes. We'll finish it another time when I feel like just sitting here for a bit. I'm gonna eat a little bit of popcorn though before I get on a game. The dominant, what do you mean? I looked over at my water because I was choking on a popcorn kernel. It got stuck to my tongue. Wait, what are you talking about? I missed it. Looking at the dominant.
Controversial topics. I'm going to talk about it from just like a day-to-day perspective. In my relationship with my partner, how I try to be really mindful of mansplaining is when she is sharing her struggle. I think a tendency that can be conditioned in me through just how men dominate and want to have to solve problems and all that is I want to jump in and just solve it and try to explain what's happening here and try to.
I missed it again.
I think a tendency that can be conditioned in me through just how men dominate and want to have to solve problems and all that is I want to jump in and just solve it and try to explain what's happening here and try to question her experience and be like, hey, like, well, did you think about this? Did you think about that? Well, I see this. That inherently in itself comes off as mansplaining, because what is the counter to mansplaining is actually getting consent from the other person. How do you want to be supported? Do you want me to support?
No, I actually missed it. I was focused, you know? Whenever you get that little piece of kernel stuck on your tongue and you just can't get it down. Oh, that was me. Ayo.
Support you and listen to you? Or
You're gonna play Overwatch? Well, have fun, and we should definitely play it soon together. I haven't played Overwatch in a while, probably since I played with you. So slow comments. I know, no, there's gonna be nobody here. It's just gonna be me. But maybe once I play a game, maybe then people will come. I don't know. I guess it's getting kind of late. Maybe I shouldn't play a scary game. New character! Yeah! Oh, wait, I have played. Have I? Oh, I have played since then. I think I played with Mercy. I did see the new character. She said she doesn't like him.
or do you want me to help solve problems?
It's also, mansplaining is also not just a man having an opinion. Right. That's not the situation. The idea is when a man interjects an opinion that he either is not fully educated on or does not have the appropriate empathy to be able to talk about.
How is that different than a woman doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my issue.
Then feel free when a woman does that to say you're womansplaining. I don't think that they'll get very...
And women would be so pissed.
There's a reason that term doesn't exist, because you're not allowed to do that towards women in society.
I promise you, if you did that, it would be just fine.
You just invented
it. Would be just fine.
Well, I think the difference is, though, when if that were to happen to men, it wouldn't quiet our voices to being completely unheard. My wife is a physics and math teacher. If she has the answer to a question in a staff meeting, she's gonna have to be louder than the men in the room, because that is the way society has conditioned people to operate, especially in male-dominated spaces. Yeah. That's what mansplaining is. I have one more question. Is it about the word?
Yeah, that's what I feel.
Is it
like
about the word?
getting hung up on like words like
y'all really don't. Y'all have a lot of problems with a lot of these languages.
When you say mansplaining, you have to understand that subconsciously we're already creating a divide when really a woman can mansplain by definition the way you guys are.
I'll watch the video
and that's just
in a
as wrong
second,
as if a man does it. So why is it called mansplaining? Why isn't it just disrespectful?
So when your life is not at stake, when you're not being attacked, I think you can focus on language. When you're not at risk of being...
You live in U.S., dude.
Men are attacked every single day.
Women are attacked more.
But I think from a societal standpoint, you guys talk a lot about social conditioning and how women feel uncomfortable. But don't you think this narrative that you're saying right now is contributing to that? Telling women that they should be scared when they're in an environment full.
We'll finish up this section, which I think is actually just about over.
Men, telling women that, you know, they are oppressed, they are this, they're that, by telling women they're less than men.
Let me respond to that. They're not telling them that. They're validating the fact that that's the reality.
Right.
Women should be encouraged to be financially...
Okay. We'll finish this another time. I'll pin it. Okay. I'm assuming on Discord. God, he is so hot. He looks so good. Okay, so this is the skin.